but really it was also more of their just absolutely not caring about people who are marginalized, people who, and I'm not talking about migrants, I'm talking about Americans who are living on less than $1,400 a month or less. Those are the people I help every day. And they don't care because they're so busy getting paid by their big donors, the Soros Foundation, George Soros and Alexander Soros themselves, the people that run their party now, that they have totally lost any type of feel, care, or anything else towards the middle class Americans and also people who are basically struggling to live every day. And don't tell me that you care, Gretchen, Dana, and Jocelyn. You don't. Hi folks, I'm Monica Ross Williams, and I am making this post today, or better yet, the video, as a response to the team at Walkaway, who asked me to make a video in response to my ex post, why it is that I walked away from the Democratic Party in 2021, and I plan on voting for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance on November 5th, and it may be a couple days early because of the fact that we now have early voting in the state of Michigan. So I want to detail everything. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So I was a 22-year plus Democrat. As my post on X that got well over 237,000 views and continues to grow says, I was highly affiliated inside of the Democratic Party here in Michigan. I was a former elected official for 9.5 years. First as a park commissioner starting in 2011, where I was appointed originally into the position, then elected in 2012, served that role for 5.5 years. And then after that, I was elected a trustee inside of Ypsilanti Township, Michigan. So that's that whole time that was a elected park commissioner and also an elected trustee inside of our community. I was affiliated with the Democratic Party. Now, on top of that, I was an active Democrat. So let me detail that. I was on the executive committee of the former 12th congressional district. That's Democratic congressional district. That district was originally John Dingell's district. Congressman John Dingell, and then it became Debbie Dingell's district. And I was on their executive committee from about, give or take, 2014 until 2020. I was also a former treasurer for not only the Eastern Washtenaw County Democrats, but equally the Washtenaw County Black Caucus, and I was the former vice president of the Eastern Washtenaw County Democrats. And on top of that, I was an alternative to the State Central Committee for, I think it was like 2015, 14 to about 2020. So I knew people, right? When I say I know people, they know me. They see my face. They know me. I've been to the governor's mansion under Gretchen Whitmer. Dana Nessel, one of the reasons why she is attorney general in this state, sadly, today is because I was key in regards to getting her African American support when she ran for attorney general in 2018, because they were not feeling her. Like the people, African American Black Democrats, were not feeling her. They were actually feeling Patrick Miles. So I lobbied hard at the convention to get her African American support. She actually asked me for that support. Her and her then campaign manager, Rick Michaels, lobbied to have my support, and what I asked her in return was to be a Frank Kelly AG, and she has not managed to get that done in one aspect, because she believes that the AG's position is not about taking care of Michigan citizens and being a consumer protection type of AG. She thinks it's all about whatever thoughts and feelings that she may have in her head. So, yeah, that happened. I also know Jocelyn Benson, too. Yeah, so you know me. She blocked me on Twitter though, which is kind of funny because I have known Jocelyn Benson probably the longest. She interviewed on my podcast, former Independent Underground Radio Live, and again, Corrupt 1989, and some numbers behind that. She can confirm that. I think she did on the Twitter post a number of times. She asked me to speak at a Michigan Rising event in give or take 2013. Jocelyn, we used to follow each other on Twitter, right? I mean, we did until you blocked me, and we followed each other on Facebook. You know, we were on a first name basis, right, Jocelyn? Didn't you also sign a NICS brief in a case in 2020, that would be Stumble Doe versus Roe, on my behalf? Even though I wasn't a party in that case, I was a party in regards to the errant affidavit of identities, which obviously mine wasn't necessarily erred. It was cheated, but that's a whole nother story. But because you knew about that, right? You and Dana signed a amicus brief in a case, that case I just cited, that went before, or almost went before the Supreme Court, except the Supreme Court punted that. And the reason why they punted it is because I think it was a Wayne County case, if I have it correct, that had the same erred affidavits of identity. And if that would have happened, they would have took the case. And I don't believe that the Wayne County prosecutor, that's currently the prosecutor, would be prosecutor. Right, exactly. So that's how much I knew Jocelyn, Dana, Gretchen. I knew Gretchen from when she was minority floor leader. You remember Gretchen? We was walking up at EMU Hall. Remember that? And you rolled your eyes at me and was like, "What are you doing it?" You act like you didn't know me. You knew me because I was actively involved inside the Democratic politics. That's why you invited me to the governor's mansion twice. Yeah, you knew me. And you know me now. So I was very actively involved. What made me go away? Specifically, let's talk about it. It was a couple of things. Number one is the policies against my body, my choice. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the my body, my choice about having a fetus in your body, right? That fetus should go and be alive. I'm basically talking about my body, my choice in regards to medical decisions, right? So particularly what you put into your body, right? Particularly in COVID. I was very much not agreed with forcing and mandating medical choices, especially the ones that allow for seniors not to be able to see their families inside of the nursing homes and long-term care facilities. Gretchen, you did that. Remember that? You did that. And then Dana, you went along with it. And then also basically as well, I absolutely have not been for the shake and bake that has been happening with our state budget. Giving money to nonprofits in order to basically do your bidding. Right. That happened with the MADC, right, Gretchen? Some things have went on here in Washtenaw County with a group called Supreme Felons, right? I think one of the preparators of Supreme Felons, the nonprofit, runs around in a Maserati now. So that definitely didn't help. But really it was also more of their just absolutely not caring about people who are marginalized, people who, and I'm not talking about migrants, I'm talking about Americans who are living on less than $1,400 a month or less. Those are the people I help every day. And they don't care because they're so busy getting paid by their big donors, the Soros Foundation, George Soros and Alexander Soros themselves. The people that run their party now, that they have totally lost any type of feel, care, or anything else towards the middle class Americans and also people who are basically struggling to live every day. And don't tell me that you care, Gretchen, Dana, and Jocelyn. You don't. Jocelyn, particularly for you. I know you lost Secretary of State twice and then you got elected. What is your thing with basically being a Secretary of State inside of the state of Michigan and believing that in that role you can support candidates that are in partisan elections? That's the reason you blocked me, because I called you out, right, Jocelyn? I called you out when you did that for an election here in Washington County with a person who didn't win by the name of Jared Jackson. Yes, I called you out because you were basically in that parade proprieting as a Secretary of State. Now, if you would just been your own self, I wouldn't care what you did, but you had a whole Secretary of State van and stuff, right? So if you're posting pictures with partisan candidates at that time, that makes you a little biased as a Secretary of State. Well, because I called you out for that, you got mad, but you didn't have to do that, because technically there's a Supreme Court decision that says that does not work. It goes back to March. I know you're a Harvard-trained lawyer. You should know that. I never went to law school, but I do. And also, basically, the partisan nature of how you are conducting our elections. You've been threatening folks and stuff like that. That's just not necessary. Like, if they, do things called, poll challengers. You know what poll challengers like, Jocelyn? Remember Tom Barrow's election? Right? Poll challengers? You knew all about them. But all of a sudden, now you think they're illegal or something. Yeah, the partisan way that you have basically made our Secretary of State's office a laughingstock is another reason why I left that party. And 2026 will come soon for all of you. Thank God, term limited. So what I will say for every one of you listening to this video is the following. Number one is follow your own convictions, right? Number two is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to leave what you may know. Also, look at our country the last 4 years, sky high inflation. People are literally young folks can't even buy houses barely because they're too high. The Democrats have been in power like 12 of those 16 years. So when they say that they could have got all these things done that they're claiming they can get done now, like Kamala Harris, she could have been get it done because she was vice president for the last 4 years. And then Democrats could have got it done too, because for that they had Barack Obama. And he didn't do anything for African Americans. Oh, I'm sorry, besides the Help and Hope Affordable program. That's it. So don't be afraid to use your voice and to do what you know is morally and ethically right. Yeah, it hurts to walk away from, people that claimed to be your friends, but they were never your friends to begin with. Do what's best for you and your family. Do what's best for the people that you know that are struggling. And this year, what that is to vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. No, I didn't vote for him in 2016 or 2020. I wrote Bernie in. Regret that decision now. But in the same aspect, I definitely will be voting for him in 2024, November 5th or earlier. And the reason why is because it's time to bring this country back for everybody, not just for the ones that are connected in the top few, which is what Democrats basically want to do. And also, they also want to mandate your human adult body in order to say these are the things that you're going to do to it. And that's not right. Oh, one more thing. Be proud of who you are. And be proud of your vote if you take that vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Thank you for listening. I know I'm a little long-winded, but thank you for listening to my video. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on Twitter. Again, aka you truth tellers too. Thanks to Elon Musk. The two actually happened. Thank you, Elon Musk, for allowing me to have my account back when I was doing medical freedom and COVID. I appreciate that. All right, with that, I'm going to go. Bye.
For more great videos, download the Walkaway Social app at walkawaysocial.com. Share your testimonial and join our community.